hours and I have country hours. Now I have to drive. I think.
What time did you used to get up? You didn't say, why don't you reveal something you didn't give in a lecture?
What's that?
What time did you get up when you lived in the city?
About 5:15.
And now you get up at 4:25.
Right.
Was 5:15 an ungodly hour?
Yes.
Okay.
So but not as ungodly. And I did get up at my own accord at 5:15 as well.
What time do you get up, Gary Puppet?
As soon as I get taken out of the bag.
Well, it depends. Am I in the city or am I in the country?
Well, I guess...
Could you call Connecticut? Because I moved, and they have to change the little sign that says the population.
Now, it's working.
Add one. I'm waiting for my number.
My population hasn't shifted.
Oh, add Mary, too.
And our baby.
And our little baby boo.
It's really tedious stuff. You know, we're on in 18 different markets, and every market has to know what commercials are going to be run that day so they can follow along.
There's 18 markets and a lot of commercials.
Really tedious stuff.
I gave that to Kathy to do. All the tedious stuff Kathy's doing.
Set up just so, you know, we have our own sets of headphones, we have our own chairs that we like to use. Everything's going to be set up in a way we block out.
Do you do the setup?
No.
No, but I oversee it. I make sure it's done correctly.
What is it, Gary Puppet?
And now, I'd like to give you the 1975 Yankee lineup. On first base,
Chris Chambliss.
The windows so that people can't look in, which everybody comes and thinks is really stupid, but you would find it really difficult to work if somebody was staring at you while you were doing your job, and that's what happens. So we put newspaper over the window.
Who does that, John?
a Grillo, and it's not even newspaper.
Oh, well, that makes a big difference, John.
Well, if you're going to be
If
accurate.
you did the job, you'd know what it
But
was.
so far, the question was, you said you were going to now tell what you did.
John could get everything right except looking at a clock and getting here on time.
Oh, come on. I was at your thing for 3 hours.
So what are you telling me, Gary? What do you do?
Huh?
We still don't know what
when
you
do we get to what you do?
It's coming up right now.
All right, good.
Yeah,
All
right
right,
there.
all
Unless
right.
Scott cut it off if we're lucky.
We do those sort of things. And then the show starts. While the show is on, I open up the mail. I go through Howard's mail and really sift through, because there's a lot of junk in the mail that's not necessary for him to see. There's a lot of stuff that's really good right for the moment. And then I listen to the show, and every Tuesday, as Gorilla tells you, and I listen to the show, and then it's like that's when you hear Howard yelling.
He listens to the show.
He comes in at 5:30 in the morning to listen to the show.
So he does exactly what I thought he did.
Yeah.
And an ungodly hour.
Well, and he does open the mail.
Well, he's supposed to open the mail after the show, but he likes to get out of here quick, so
Yeah.
he now does it during the show because there's nothing else to do.
No, I like to do it during the show because there are things we can use for that day, that moment. But, you know.
When is the last time he came in with a letter that needed to be on the air for the moment?
The day before yesterday, I actually
okay.
did.
Thank you.
I did. I came in 2 days ago with one.
Get me the number for McDonald's in Lebanon. You know, I want to call McDonald's in Lebanon or something. And actually, I have a radio in my office that is a direct feed, because I don't know how many of you people know, but the show is broadcast on delay. What we're doing, you're hearing around 70 seconds later.
Oh. All right, I can't. This is the most boring.
Yeah, it's boring for you.
It is boring.
Well, because you know it.
I know it.
I wonder if he told him about the time you were supposed to get the librarian's number and you asked him if he tried information.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. Gary doesn't tell you about his failures. So
That would be interesting.
part of my job is to look up numbers if Howard needs a number. So what I did was, Howard a number for a librarian. So
You don't need me for this part.
I got a private detective,
called
and they couldn't
newspaper.
find her.
No, I can't
called
leave
the
Gary.
And then I called CNN, and they couldn't find her.
So for 2 days, I'm waiting to get the number for this Westlaco. He goes, I called the newspaper. I got a direct.
And the reporter doesn't want to give me the number.
But we're arguing about it. So we say to Gary, maybe you should just ask the operator if she's listed.
Jackie, you're going to die of a heart attack if you laugh any harder.
Yeah.
So what we
Did you
learned...
tell him that story?
No, but could I take this tape and bring it to the next...
Wolf.
All right. Anyway, very
what
good.
we learned is Gary listens to the show. That's
Well,
interesting.
all right. Well, listen, Gary, congratulations on your Learning Annex appearance.
And thank you for setting me up again as usual. Appreciate it.
All right.
I'd love to toot my horn some more, but I think my battery is dead.
All right, Gary Puppet.
Thank you.
Good to see you, too, as well. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. And Jackie Puppet sort of taking the wind out of your sails.
I don't know. I always hate Jackie. Sure, laugh it up, you big puppet head.
Jackie Puppet and Gary Puppet, the angry one.
Arguing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Loggerheads.
But
Of our own accord.
Gary Puppet has an appearance.
Oh, he does? Where is Gary Puppet appearing?
A week from tomorrow, going to be at Top's Appliance in Long Island City.
Try not to lose me this time.
No, where's Jackie Puppet going to be?
I haven't let him work yet.
Yeah.
Jackie Puppet.
He wants too much money.
As you pick up Jackie Puppet, his arms fall off.
Jackie Puppet hasn't asked Nancy whether he's getting enough money yet.
All right, very good. Okay, congratulations, Papa Booey.
The Learning Annex lecture?
Sound like a great... Well, there's plenty more, but I don't know if I can handle it. We're going to take a break. Unless there's something that I should be hearing. Do you know of any...
a lot of it's visual. Like, Gary had these tapes, but he didn't take time to edit them, so he's played these tapes, and then, like, the commercial...
So you sat there and watched my TV show, and then commercials would come on.
Yeah, commercials come on, then he goes, Grill, turn it off. And then he does the tape of my interviews, and, like, the tape
No, John,
quality was all, like...
that wasn't the tape. That wasn't the tape. It was the machine.
What is it, Ganji?
Well, we do have tape of, like, Gary's opinion on, like, Robin. And,
Well, I'd like to hear that.
A little Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A. I'd like to hear. Maybe does everyone want to hear that?
Sure.
Yeah, that was actually good, because Gary's answers are usually, like, 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then they could be just yes or no.
Yeah, right. He just goes on and
John,
on.
people aren't paying to hear yes or no. They want to hear about the show. John, could you do it?
I wouldn't want to do this. So.
Could you, though?
Yeah, why? I mean, look, what, I can't tell that
He can bore people for 2 hours.
I can tell him how I used to drive a truck, a wholesale tire.
Yeah.
The reason we didn't pull all that rap about him working at Fridays and stuff, it was so boring. We sat back there and we're going, should we pull it? We could pull it to show how boring it was, but we're like, oh, it's just too boring.
Yeah, if it's boring, are people going to sit and listen to it?
Right.
How long did he talk about how he worked at TGIF?
Probably about 20 minutes.
Hello?
No, not
Is
at
this working?
All those
How long
together.
did he talk?
That
love
whole
it.
rap from all his boring jobs was at least like 20 minutes to a half hour. It was so boring.
And then I came in around 5:30, and the busboys were putting the plates on the tables. And then I watched as they made the coleslaw. It was quite fascinating. But I knew it wasn't for me. I had to move on.
What did he do with this great photography education he got? He never used it.
I didn't do anything with it.
Well, he explains how at Delphi told him to take communications, and that was
They
it.
recognized great potential in him at Delphi. Well, there must have been more money for the course.
At one spot, I think on the tape that you have, it talks about how he first came in contact with you, not contact, but he saw your record album.
Right.
Yes.
At wherever the record store he was working, and his opinion of you.
Yes.
When he first saw the record.
I see.
Yeah, I thought you were a jerk. I looked at the picture and I thought it was stupid. I didn't know who you were.
Oh, I see.
He used a little stronger language than Chuck.
Oh, did he? What did he say? Ass?
Yeah. But I told you that story before. I've never.
How could you judge anybody?
Well, I was young and
With your
stupid.
background.
Now I'm old and stupid.
Bosse's.
I mean, well, he's moving the albums.
Yeah. He's making sure it's in alphabetical order.
He's got an opinion of every album he has to lug.
This guy's an idiot.
This guy's a jerk.
Now, let's see. His last name is Stern, so that would go after, what? After Janis Joplin.
After Slaw. No, that was the other place I worked. By the way, which is the coal and which is the slaw? I never knew.
If he's a disc jockey, do I put him with rock groups, or do I put him in his own category?
I think he might go with spoken word.
Yeah, is this spoken word, or...
I'll put him right after Isaac.
Oh, is this music?
Hey, this guy looks like a real ass. But if there were no albums, I'd have no job.
Maybe.
Congratulations on a great speech. I'm sure a lot of people... If Ganji, if there's anything good back there, quickly bring it in to me, because...
What's TGI Friday rap? That's a good one.
TGIF,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
TGI Friday.
I've never even been to one.
Is that what that means?
You mean you worked at TGIF, Gary Puppet, and you didn't know what it meant?
Ah.
You thought it was just initials.
Yeah.
I see.
I thought TGI was a guy.
Yeah. I thought it was the guy who owned the place,
TGIF.
I used to call it...
You used to actually call the place Taguf? Tagif.
And my mom called it... I come home from a very hard day of pushing around coleslaw, and my mom would say, "Hi, Baba Booey. How'd it go at..." I said, "Mom, you screwed it up again. It's..."
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these words. I've just about had it with this Baba Booey tape, because we have to call Ray Liotta's ex-girlfriend. We got her number.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
But I wanted to see if there's... Hold on.
Oh, bless. Yeah.
Just put some snot out of my nose.
Sorry.
Give me a tissue. Oh, here's a tissue.
You just let that go, huh?
I don't know how to hold it back.
No, I meant you didn't grab a tissue in preparation.
No, here, I got a little mess on my hand. I caught it right in my hand. What's the difference? I love my hand. I catch everything in my hand, all bodily fluids.
And then you what? You go touch other people?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care what happens to them. I don't care what happens to me. That's why I don't touch other people. I know what I do. I'm sure they're doing worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, you want to hear Gary's Q&A real fast? This is Gary at the Learning Annex last night explaining stuff like what he does, and these are people asking him questions. This is somebody asked about his relationship with Robin. I don't know what this is. I'll see if it's no good, I'll just blow out of it. There's some guy who wants to yell at me real quick. So, what is that? Oh, I know what that is. I don't know what reel I've got. Nobody talks.
What we're going to do now is we're just going to open it up for questions and answers. You know, see if anybody has any questions that you want to ask myself.
Supposedly he talked for an hour and a half before he opened it up to questions and answers, and the hour and a half was all about his his BOCES and
his background.
Yeah.
Or Stuttery John, or if there's anybody else in the audience you want to ask, let's start with you.
When Robin was interviewing for her book, she said that you and she had bonded. And what I want to know is, what did you two of you talk about, and what is the nature of your relationship with her?
Okay, the nature of our relationship is I liken it a lot to a brother and a sister. She's like a sister to me. We fight like a brother and a sister do. Sometimes she pisses me off so much, I might say, I hate that bitch. But if you said, Robin's a bitch, I would be like, you can't call her a bitch. I can call her a bitch because she's my sister. I would defend her to the death. We've had our ups and downs in the past, but we get along pretty good now. I mean, when she screws with me on the air, it really does piss me off. And when I say those things at that moment, I really do mean them. But we get along very well. And it really is the show.
That sounds like you get along real well. You fight all the time.
But we love it.
But he will defend you if someone else picks on you.
To the death.
To the deaf. To the deaf people.
I will fight tooth and nail. And tooth.
Well, as long as he fights with me, fights for me tooth, I'll be covered.
I would give up my teeth.
Come on.
Well, at least half a tooth.
In general, is a lot like a family. You know, Howard's the father. Robin's sort of like the mother or the older sister.
And Gary's the monkey.
Gary's the pet.
Gary's our pet.
I'm the mascot.
Let's find out. Let's see. You're the mommy. To Gary, I'm the daddy. That's just what I need.
Jackie's the drunk uncle. Fred's, he's the Martian in the family. But what happened was Robin and I...
I was stuck here, boss.
I didn't know what to say about Fred.
I'm afraid.
So I called him the Martian.
Had some really brutal, like not even amusing fights some years ago. And we never really talked about them. And during this interview session for the book, we talked about them. And we ironed out a lot of stuff. And Robin, that's what Robin's book is going to be about.
Fighting with Gary.
Different fights with Gary.
Round 2.
Do you want to hear him answer a question about his sleeping habits?
Yes.
Are you really fascinated by this? You're having too much fun.
I love Gary. Gary's an amusement to me.
Tonight until about 10 o'clock, and then you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you work this morning. How do you...
I took a nap. I took a nap.
Gary, how do you keep up with that demanding schedule? You got to understand something. It doesn't matter that Gary gets a little sleep because
Gary can nap all day long.
yeah, Forrest Delabate.
I'll be right here.
Nap. I took a nap this afternoon, and you learn to live on less sleep, and you learn how to, I couldn't do 3 of these in a week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a minimal amount of sleep tomorrow. I'll leave work tomorrow, and then actually I have an appearance tomorrow night with John Bobbitt at the...
So in other words, he's dopey for his job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'll be so tired that...
He saved himself for this.
Yeah. In other words, he slept all afternoon instead of being here working.
Yeah.
Yeah, these personal appearances are doing me a lot of good.
Also...
Sorry, Gary Puppet?
Also, to prepare for tonight, I've been resting my brain since 1979.
Nice club. But I'll go home and catch some sleep.
He's always catching sleep on my
No,
time.
I don't take any drugs. I swear to God, I'm drug-free.
Do you have any, sir?
Stuttering John, such a cool guy.
Short, and you're probably asking me, who's the real Howard Stern, the guy in the radio or the guy off the radio? Is that sort of the question?
How would he know?
That was a good reaction.
You know what? It's a commonly asked question, and the answer to me is very simple. It's got to be, the person on the air has to be an extension of something that's going on in Howard's mind.
A psychologist.
Gary's in-depth analysis of Howard Stern.
Well, I did go to BOCES. I have some credentials to analyze.
Photography course.
He's probably, listen, we all have thoughts in our mind that we're not allowed to bring out in real life or that we suppress because, you know, we get our asses kicked or whatever. Howard is one of those guys who's found, not only is he lucky enough to let those thoughts out, he's getting paid damn good money to do it.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to get these thoughts out.
I'm still waiting for my first thought.
I know I have them.
But I know when I get one, it'll be a good one.
I haven't caught one yet.
Gary Puppet, you're waiting for your first good thought?
For my first good thought, and I want big bucks.
You think I'm missing my thoughts when I'm sleeping?
No.
Gary, he gets to say what he wants. He's damn lucky.
That's right. I'll catch it like I catch sleep.
Everything to Gary is luck. No such thing as hard work.
Well, he was lucky.
Yeah.
He found you.
And by the way, I believe he is an extension of his personality. Voff won the lottery. He's just lucky.
I think Howard is an extension of the thoughts in his mind.
Gary looks at me as a guy like who wins the lottery. You know, hey, you won the lottery.
We all have these thoughts.
Right. It's just Howard is lucky enough to get to express them.
Yeah.
That's right. And my thoughts are an extension of my teeth.
Yeah, and that just happened through luck, you know. Baba Booey goes down to Dallas. Baba Flunky. I can't stand Gary. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. So, he goes down to Dallas and they put him in a parade.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman is like, I don't know, 30 years old. And, Fred, you can kill the sound effect. It's not working for me. She's like 30 years old and thinks she's pretty good looking and everything.
This is the promotion?
Yeah, I mean, she's nice, but you're Gary describes her, very taken with herself. So they put Gary and her up on a flatbed truck or something. And they like the woman's waving to the crowd and stuff, and evidently the guy's short-stopped. She rolled right out the back.
Was it just a truck? I mean, this is not the truck with something on it?
Right, no, it was just like a truck, and she was standing, her and Gary were standing there waving to the crowd, and I guess the guy came to a short stop. And as you can imagine, if you were standing in a truck and the car short stopped, she fell on her ass and rolled right out the back of the truck. It was the funniest thing ever. She like bounced into the street, and it was like a high up truck. So she just had it. I mean, she could have been really hurt because she could have fallen on her head or something.
Sure. So they're at the end of the truck as opposed to, or are there sides on this truck or what? I don't understand. Nothing to hold on to at all.
Nothing. Howdy.
Hello. How are you? Hello.
Yeah, like the Sabruta film. Does anyone have tape of that?
Oh, wouldn't that be funny to see? Somebody must have videotaped it. Oh, no.
Somebody must have videotaped that. That must have been funny.
I would hope.
I guess it was just like a big empty truck.
And she's the promotions director. What is she waving for?
I know.
On the air?
She shouldn't even be up there. She's standing next to Baba Booey. Like, he's just like waving and what kind of truck was it? Like, what was on the truck?
It's a Humvee. Do you know what a Humvee is?
No.
It's the thing that Arnold Schwarzenegger owns. It's like the $75,000. It's like a
It's an armored vehicle.
It's almost like a tank.
Yeah.
But there's a little like flatbed part in the back.
Yeah.
And we were standing there.
Oh, so there is nothing to hold on to.
No, nothing.
So Humvee donated the thing to the parade so people could see it?
Yeah, I guess so, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it's a big deal to see at a Humvee, because they're probably rare.
Exactly.
And, so, and was she like really full of herself and stuff?
She looked just like Jackie O right before the bullet.
Right.
Hand waving and stuff.
Oh, Gary, wait.
And then, exactly. We were like giving out bumper stickers and what are those things that you put on the bottom of bottles, beer bottles, so they stay warm?
Yeah.
We're throwing those out to the crowd, and then, I don't know, it just like...
She turned around and she was gone?
What happened was the guy sort of like lunged. It's just sort of lunged, and she fell right out the back. She did like a full flip, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why did he stop short?
I don't know what happened.
And what did you do? Like, how come you didn't roll out the back?
Because I was standing a little bit farther up front,
right,
and I managed to get my balance.
Right.
She's pretty short. She's only like 5'1", so I guess she couldn't get her balance.
What was she wearing?
She was wearing just jeans and a leather jacket, luckily.
And was she trying to look cool and stuff?
Not on her ass.
No, but I mean, like when she was waving and everything?
Yeah, she's just, trying to, be good to the crowd, give out stuff, show that the station's, like, real generous, and she just went.
And were people, like, looking and, like...
Well, everybody stopped. The whole parade stopped, and everybody that was in it, sort of ran over to her, and then she was okay, and then, we put her back in.
Did you see,
so she didn't get run over by another float?
No.
So you didn't see her? That's funny. The next Humvee. Like, what was behind you? What float was behind you?
It was like a bunch of people. Oh, it was a bunch of Harleys.
Harleys. Right on. Imagine they rode over her. Was she embarrassed?
I would think she was very embarrassed.
But she got back up on the Humvee?
She got back up.
And she started waving again?
Yep. She just sat down. She sat down from there on in.
Yeah. She sat on the Humvee.
That's right.
And tie her down.
Put a tie line.
Yeah, it's like mountain climbing. So, like, you're waving and stuff, and, like, the whole time was she going, oh, man, I can't believe I fell at the top, or she just kept quiet?
Well, wasn't
she being kind of loud and annoying up until then?
No, everyone kept walking up to her and asking her if she was okay and stuff. No, she wasn't being loud and annoying or anything. She was just, she's just waving.
Yeah. And the last thing you want after that happens for each individual person to come up and ask you if you're okay.
Yeah, because you're hoping people have forgotten.
Yeah, right. And it's like, oh, man. And I know, like, when I was sick, like, everyone kept calling and going, how you doing? And I was like, oh, my God, I feel terrible. What am I going to say? I'm sick. I don't know what to say.
Well, it was really
But
cool.
It's nice that somebody, you would be hurt if people didn't ask.
Right. Well, that's why I didn't bother to talk to you. I talked to Alice.
Yeah. So,
Well, people kept coming up to her, like, repeatedly, like in half-hour increments.
Right. Like, you okay?
Because I think she thought she might have hurt her elbow. So that
Right.
it was like, first it was you okay, and then like a half an hour later, is your elbow swelling up?
And, like, when she fell out, like, she like, whoa!
Did she make a noise?
She sort of...
You didn't even hear anything. You didn't see her fall, did you?
No, I saw her fall.
So, like, when she fell, did she fall on her butt?
Yeah, she fell right on her butt. Like on her elbow.
Let me get this straight.
I can't see.
Wait a second. I'm glad she's okay and everything.
Yeah.
So she's standing there waving, right?
Right.
And then it stopped short.
Wait. She's waving, right?
Right.
So, hey, everybody, how you doing? How you doing? The thing stopped short.
Yeah.
So, like, at first you move forward, and then, like...
Actually, it's a lot worse than that.
Right.
It never stopped short. It sort of lunged forward.
Right.
So she never had a chance.
Faster.
Yeah, it was right. She fell right out the back.
And she fell on her butt when she came out.
Right.
Did she bounce?
Yeah, she did bounce once.
Oh, that had to hurt. Oh, that's like when I fell. And how high up is the Humvee?
I don't know, 6, 7 feet.
Whoa.
5 or 6 feet? I guess about 5 feet.
Wow.
Wow, that is a height to fall.
Oh, man, they got their money's worth down in Dallas at that parade. She's got to be still taking gravel out of her ass. Oh, man.
Oh.
That's wild. Someone must have taped that.
I mean, I hope so. There were a lot of people around. A lot of people had video cameras.
And certainly it was the Baba Booey float. So everybody was waiting for that, weren't they?
Everything goes wrong at the Baba Booey float.
You have no idea how they were waiting for it, Robin.
Wow. She probably never wants to do that with you again.
Oh, it wasn't my fault.
Who knows? Could have been. I would have blamed you.
Whose idea was it to stand in the back of a Humvee?
Yeah.
It might have been hers.
Right.
Because there really is nothing to hold on to.
I don't know. I find that kind of stuff so funny.
Oh.
As long as it doesn't happen to me.
Right.
When I fell off the rollerblades, I must have gone about 6 feet into the air. And I'll tell you one thing, I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. Right on my ass. I can imagine how she's walking. But it's something funny about someone like, hi, like, hey, what are you doing up there with Baba Booey? Who are you? And like, hi, whoa.
On the entertainment.
Yeah, hey, shut up. Oh, that's what she does. She must, like, every couple of feet fall out. She must be a professional stunt woman.
She's a female Chevy Chase.
Yeah, oh, okay. I guess it's okay for her to be up there.
That's how she makes her entrances.
It's just one of those things where you had no way to be prepared that might happen. That's what makes it so much funny.
And you never found out why the guy speeded up.
The guy just said that.
Do you want to talk to the guy who scores with girls looking like Gary?
Oh, let's see what he...
All right. And then we got a lot to go over.
How difficult is it to pretend to be Gary?
All right, let me just talk to this guy. Hey, dude. Hey, dude.
Yo.
It's a little unethical telling girls you're Gary.
It worked. I don't do it anymore, but when I used to go out, it was a sure way of picking up a girl. You got to realize this is before the TV show.
I know what you're thinking, Robin. How can guys lie to, to girls?
Yeah, I mean, did you ever meet someone you really liked?
No, but, this is how guys are. Guys, we have penises, and if some things aren't going well for us.
You're all sick.
No, it's very hard to relieve oneself. And when you don't get a girl for a while, if there's a particular angle that can help you, you just
take it.
You feel compelled.
Once
Just
it
jump
works,
off
don't
that
give it
cliff.
up.
Right.
It worked. It worked the first time, and I was flipping out. After that, it just got.
So what happened? Did you dump her afterward? Where'd you pick her up?
Well, I used to go to this here club on the island called Zachary's.
Yeah.
And this is before you guys were on TV.
Mm-hmm.
About 4 years ago.
Right.
And I tried it one night that as I was talking to this girl for a while.
We know a guy used to be Dan Rather's son. Remember that? And he never was Dan Rather's son. So he never got. He said he got him laid once or twice.
But we don't know with who.
Yeah, we think he might have been with another guy. we weren't sure if this guy was.
We don't know who he was trying to.
Yeah, we weren't sure if he was with women or men. I don't think he was sure. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So while I'm talking to them for about 5 minutes, and if I think that there's going to be some type of connection, then I usually say to them, "You don't recognize me, do you?" And they look at me like I'm,
You're crazy.
Yeah, and they say, "Why should I? Did I meet you here before?" I kind of smile, I laugh like I'm somebody, and I say, "You don't know me? Well, I guess you wouldn't recognize my face maybe, but you don't recognize my voice." And I'd put on more of a, this type of...
You're more of a stupid voice.
Well, not so much stupid, but, like this, "Hey, who are you?" And I said, "My name is, Gary Delabate."
Gary Delabate. Who would think that would get a woman to go to bed with him? Even knowing who he is. And they probably didn't know who Gary Delabate was.
Well, a couple of them did. A couple of them absolutely did. But it was funny because my first time was the best experience. The girl first, she didn't know.
Yeah.
She said, "Who's that?"
Right.
So I said, "Well, did you ever hear Howard Stern?" So she said, "Yeah." I said, I'm Howard's producer." "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, wow, that's interesting.
You think you bang him?
What do you? Oh, yeah."
And they're good looking?
They're real.
Robin, what do you want?
Wait, I want to know how good this is. Are they really good looking?
Yeah, come on.
I mean, they're all right.
No, they're hot.
Really?
They're what we like.
I mean, normally you couldn't get these girls, but now that you're somebody...
I might be able to get them, but it was easy once they know that you have some type of ready for this celebrity status.
Right. I know what you're saying. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for all of us to admit that Gary's a celebrity.
Well, compared to telling them, you're a sanitation worker.
Right.
Somebody.
Is that what you are? Are you a sanitation worker?
No, but,
What are you? What do you do? What kind of work?
Computers.
Computers, all right. And compared to saying I'm a computer guy,
right.
It's better.
So let me ask you something. Did you ever go out with these girls more than once?
No.
No, you don't want to do that. Because if they find out, that could be real embarrassing.
I would like to see that.
The only one that I did like, and I confessed after sleeping with her, I told her the truth because I did like her. And
who was it, Sally Field?
Yeah.
I talked to a Gary Delabate.
She got real annoyed at me only because I would do such a thing and then take her to bed.
Right.
And she thought I was really sleazy for.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
But so what?
See, I knew it would happen. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there is a God.
But I didn't want to.
So then, Auntie, did she run out on you after that?
No. I mean, we did it one more time, but that was it. She didn't want to see me after that.
Right. She was disgusted.
She did it one more time.
Well, he must have.
Loose.
She was loose. She probably would have done it with you anyway, but you didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. She just wanted something to bitch about. That.
Right. But the Gary Delabate thing was an icebreaker. It's almost like Pretty Woman when the guy reveals that he's this billionaire to the hooker.
Right.
It's just like that. The same concept, except reverse. You have to reveal to the girl you're not a rich guy. You're just some dope.
I got to tell you, the first night, what made it so memorable was she didn't know who I was. She didn't know anything about the show really, except that she heard about it. But her girlfriend was a big fan.
Right.
And she was flipping out. So the girlfriend was hanging out trying to pick me up. And
they were fighting over you.
Well, she wasn't. She was just standing by, and she was giving me the old Hawkeye and stuff. And she's looking at me as if I was somebody big,
Right.
Who wouldn't want to date with a Gary Delabate?
Yeah, it's amazing that women will go for the Gary Delabate. Because you think you got to pose and pretend you're Bruce Willis or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Springsteen.
Yeah, this is Gary Delabate.
Yeah, I talk about, my mom lives in Uniondale, and, I was going to bring him home to meet you, and You know, right now I have my brother's car. I had to borrow his Trans Am, you know, like this type of thing.
Right.
I go the whole thing. Robin, I talked about her, and you know, they want to know about the people on the show.
Right, so you would tell them.
Yeah, were you ever at Howard's house? Yeah, you kidding me?
Go there all the time.
Exactly, all the time.
Yeah, well, at least you were complimentary. You know, at least that is not. I mean, if we got you late, at least you were complimentary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no sweat, no sweat.
There's probably some law against doing something like that. I just don't know which one.
Fraud, isn't it?
Some kind of fraud, but I guess, you know.
It's definitely a con.
It is a con.
And that could be, it could constitute rape if women think they're going to bed with one guy. They didn't give consent to him.
Well, they did give consent, but they gave consent to the wrong guy.
They gave consent to Gary Delabate.
Right.
And they got banged by this guy.
Yeah. I think you committed a few crimes, sir.
One of them said to me, "You don't have bad teeth." I said, it's a goof. They just goof on me all day long. That's also part of the show.
Right.
So that's all.
So, and you'd have like really outrageous sex with these girls, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. And then they'd want to see you some more.
You know, I took their number and I never called them. That's
right.
All. You know, it was just one.
So, think how many girls out there think they've had sex with Gary?
You know, Gary has a lot more women than he even knows.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how many women did you have doing this?
I did it a total of 3 times.
3 times.
One girl I saw more than one night, but otherwise it was just.
So why were you never tempted to do it more than that?
You know, it's a little bit. You get a little nervous because you don't want to get caught.
Right.
You know.
Right. You maybe want to meet a girl on your own.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. It's just you don't want to get caught. You know, how long can you keep the facade up of being a Gary?
I wonder if you could trick Gary's fiance. That's what I'm wondering.
I bet I could, both.
I bet you could, Bull. Did you look like him, huh?
No, I really don't look like him. I have dark hair.
Right.
I don't have those African features.
Right.
You know.
Gary does have African features.
Oh, yeah.
African.
Stuttering John has played many practical jokes on Baba Booey.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, stealing of the Gary puppet.
Gary took the Gary puppet to an appearance. Lo and behold, Stuttering John stole it, and I had told Gary, don't you lose that puppet, because I love that puppet more than I love you.
Right, the puppet was pretty much new at the time, and
very popular.
You made it clear that you didn't want anything to happen to this puppet.
No, I didn't.
And now
and John went and stole it, and Gary had a heart attack all weekend.
On top of that, ever since the puppet's been a has-been.
Right.
And then John had a stockbroker call and say that I lost all my money.
Right, which was a real good one. So Gary said, I really want to get John. And Gary came to me, he says, I'm going to fire John. Because I know it's not funny, but I want to fire him and watch that bastard squirm. I said, all right, I'm in. What do I got to do? He says, you just get on the air and say you're mad at John, which I did.
Effectively.
Yeah,
because the second you said it, John was in a funk.
Right. So John was bumming out all the show yesterday after I said I was mad at him.
Right, yeah, because you put the final touches on it yesterday.
And John knows I actually am mad at him. On some level.
Yeah.
Well, that's
John's always conniving and scheming behind my back.
I'm not conniving, but that's why it was so effective, because I know you've been upset with all this Howard Stern show crew and all.
So Gary hauls John in after the show. Gary has like a little 10-minute meeting with me to make like we had a discussion. And he calls John into the room.
Kathy calls me first and goes, Gary wants you to stay here before you leave because he needs to talk to you before you leave. So I'm like, oh no.
You do something bad.
Yeah, I'm like,
you didn't think you were
That's
going to get
like
fired.
the principal thing.
Well, I started getting the sweat. I'm sweating, I was freaking out.
But you didn't think you were going to be fired.
Well, yeah, I thought it was either that or just another, another dose of, another way of being reprimanded.
Well, you also said something yesterday about cleaning house. Gary was going to do some house cleaning.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you fell for it too, Robin.
I didn't fall for anything.
Oh, you
She was hoping it was real.
Real fire.
Great.
All right, so here we go. So here, Gary brings John into the room, and,
Now, this happened in the jock lounge because I kept seeing the door closed.
Yeah.
We had a hidden camera in those big speakers that we keep on the floor.
Oh.
And the premise was that, John had some wacky book proposal going around in his name that had my name all over it. And I had caught wind of it, for real. And I got really pissed off about it. So Gary went in there to say, hey, it turns out that the book proposal showed its ugly head again somewhere. And basically Gary was sent in by me to be fired because I didn't want to fire him. I didn't want to fire John myself. It would be too painful, so Gary was going to do it.
Gary's your hatchet man.
Right.
And Gary played it really well, because he was almost like, looked like he was going to cry, too.
All right, well, here we go. He was upset for you.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
And Gary had said to me, listen, after I fire him, let's not tell him for a couple of days. So I said, you want to know something? I think John would be so bummed out that he might kill himself.
Right, yeah.
I could have.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Responsible for a death. I couldn't let that happen.
I said, don't let him leave. I mean, fire him, leave the room, and then come back in and tell him, because he'll kill himself.
I would definitely have reached for that jar of Prozac.
Right. I didn't want to hear about the binge he went on for 3 days. And afterwards, Gary walked into the office proud as a peacock. I got him, Wolf. Oh, it worked so good.
I work so hard, and there's always a chance that something can go wrong. You can see the camera, someone could spill it. You try to tell as few people as possible.
All right, here we go.
Well, I know Gary's been working up to this for weeks.
I know, bothering me.
I thought of this.
Calling me every day.
I thought of this the Friday before we went on Christmas vacation.
And by the way, it's not even creative. It's like, hey, I'm going to take John in a room and fire him. I mean, watch him get upset.
No,
it's not creative at all.
It's not creative, but the setup has to be done right, and I did have to run the cable through the ceiling so the camera worked.
Right.
The only thing is, what's next? Telling me I have cancer, It's the only thing that could be worse.
All right, well, we'll get to that. We got to figure out a funny way to do it.
Where does the cable have to be run?
Yeah. Up his butt. All right, here we go.
Shut the door. I'm wired, by the way.
Yes, I know.
What was I?
Is that you whispering?
Yeah. All about it. He's
What are you
like De Niro.
Are you nervous or something?
Let me tell you something. This is so elaborate that I had Kathy come and put papers on every chair except for the one I wanted John to sit in.
Right.
Yeah, those boxes. No, that's why that
We
was.
put boxes on everything, so John can only sit in the one chair.
Right, because you had a camera.
We would get the best camera.
That was smart.
Sit down, I'll tell you.
What I do.
So,
What I do.
I'm guilty.
Guilty already.
so I guess, remember that whole thing that went on like at Christmas time?
You sound nervous yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
That's why I'm like, oh,
But that's great, because Gary would have terrible time firing somebody.
I told him, I said,
Not really.
I don't know if we left it in at one point. I go, John, my heart's pounding. That's when he knew something was wrong.
You called me about the book.
Yeah.
Right? About the whole book, and you said you weren't doing everything. Somehow it ended up on Buckwald's desk, right? This whole proposal, right? And I sat down with Howard, and I told him that. You know what I'm saying? I said, I called you about this a couple of months ago, but like Buckwald flipped over. Flipped over.
See, Buckwald's my agent. Yeah. So, Gary blamed it that Buckwald was flipping out, which is good. So Buckwald's flipping out. Howard then learned of it. He's flipping out, and John's panicking.
And Gary's heart's pounding.
Yeah. And Gary sounds like the one being fired.
When did it end up on Buckwald's desk?
Sometime last week.
How could that be?
I have no idea. But Buckwald flipped over it, and Howard flipped over it.
Yeah, I have on paper a firing of that guy as soon as Christmas that thing happened.
I know.
He sounds like Cato Kaler. Listen to him explaining himself.
At least,
I find him good.
I have it on paper.
No one even knows what he's talking about. You never know what John's talking about. You never know what he's talking about.
All non sequiturs.
Right? And you had no idea what he was talking about.
I had a vague idea, but...
Yeah, I got to hear that again.
I'm saying I fired the guy ever since that fiasco.
Yeah, well, that's not exactly clear. It's like... Hey, John, can you explain that to me?
Yep. I don't understand.
How could that be?
Yeah, right. Yeah, listen to this explanation again. But
I have no idea. But Buckwald flipped over it, and Howard flipped over it.
Yeah, I fired on paper a firing of that guy as soon as Christmas that thing happened.
I know.
I fired on paper.
I know. I fired.
He said he fired on paper.
He has keywords: fired, paper, Christmas.
I know.
And I just go, I know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
No, you don't.
No one knows. You don't even know what he's saying.
Christmas happened.
Fire, Christmas, paper. Fire, Christmas happened. As soon as Christmas, that thing happened. Well, I gotta hear that again.
Fired on paper a firing of that guy as soon as Christmas that thing happened.
I know. And
I know.
I don't know if like Howard's trying to make an example or something, but I think that like he's just sort of like, he told me he's going to come and talk to you, but basically he told me like he's going to like let you go. Although he said he'd still use you for interviews and stuff from time to time. But I think that I couldn't really say anything because I feel like my ass is on the line. You know, I'm treading on dangerous water myself, and I couldn't really say anything because I'm
treading on dangerous water myself.
He's barely as coherent as I am.
I know. It's two incoherent guys with a job.
What is Gary talking about?
It's like Gary has to fire you, but he's not clear why he's firing you, and you're not clear on what your answer is.
I think Howard's going to talk to you and he's going to let you go, but he will use you on interviews occasionally.
Well, see, I knew that was a write-off. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, it was just being nice.
Yeah, he'll never hear from you again.
Meanwhile, Gary's treading himself.
He's treading on thin water.
I'm treading, Wolf.
I'm skating on thin water.
I'm doing a dog paddle.
I'm skating on thin water.
Somehow that never sounds right when he uses those words.
He never gets them quite right.
He's always like, I'm treading on dangerous water.
But he's
always treading.
Isn't it treading on, what is it?
He's actually, you're skating on thin ice is what he's trying to
And
say.
treading on what?
Where there's smoke, there's wall paint.
You're treading
on dangerous ground? Would that be it?
No. Treading on
thin water.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Dangerous ground.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
It always sounds wrong.
Gary always
I thought it was just treading water. You know, I'm treading water.
No.
I don't know what he's saying.
Well, hey, listen, I wouldn't attempt it if I didn't know.
As stupid as I am, your choice is bad.
Gary's treading, John's treading.
Fire, Christmas paper.
He asked me about the T-shirt and about what went on in Dallas and what went on in Atlantic City and stuff. And, he just said, listen, I think John's a great guy, but it's just too much. He goes, it's just too much. He's out there. But you know what it is? I think it's not it's not the book. It's everything that led up to it. And this is just like tips it off. And you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not.
Just tips it off. Gary, hold on a second.
I'm trying to, I'm just.
What are you trying to say there?
It's a cliche.
Tipped it over the edge is what I meant to say.
Just tips it off.
I'm skating on thin ice, and this just tips it off.
Right. But I think that
I think he's trying to say
last call.
Like we called about that too.
But he's really unhappy about that. The way.
Are you ready to hear this? I went for a tape on a Maury Povich show on Monday.